Welcome to Unconventional. I'm your host, Bill Tessar. Unique stories from entrepreneurs that have failed, picked themselves up, been knocked down, picked themselves up again, traveled roads that few travel. It's about digging into the successes that people have found in real estate, financing, lending, and the like. What happens when life takes a hard left turn? When you go from selling cars to becoming one of the top mortgage producers in the nation, and then decide your true calling is to serve America's heroes. Today's guest knows something about that kind of transformation. From the car business to building one of the most successful builder mortgage divisions in the country, and from the boardroom to the backwoods, he's a man driven by purpose, grit, and a deep love for those who serve. He's not just a mortgage leader, he's a survivor, a servant, and the founder of Heroes Ranch, a sanctuary for veterans, first responders, and families with special needs. His story is one of faith, second chances, and unstoppable drive. Please help me welcome Freeman Sawyer, Regional Vice President of CrossCountry Mortgage, and a dear, dear friend of mine. Welcome, Freeman.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Honestly, Free, you are one of my favorite people. Not of all time in my life currently, like one of my favorite people. And we don't get to spend a lot of time with one another, being that we're 2,000 miles away now. We used to be fellow teammates and worked in SoCal. But it seems like every single time, however long a time span that might be, that we connect, we take ourselves right back to the time we were shoulder to shoulder, fighting through the financial crisis.
Yeah, I think that's available for men to do that, right? We can be apart for years and come back to 5 minutes ago. So I think it's something you and I have in common. I do enjoy that myself.
And if you really think about it, Free, we really met under the worst financial conditions, probably in both of our lives. And we're around the same age. What are you? You're 60, 61?
62.
62, and I'm 58. So we're around the same age. And I think we met in '06 during the financial crisis, where we both ran separate companies and figured out a way to bring resources together to really survive. Yeah?
Correct. Yeah, it was all about staying afloat.
Before we go down that road, your life in sales did not start in the mortgage side. You were in the car business and actually kind of carved out a pretty big name for yourself on that side of the street. Tell me a little bit about that.
That's where all my background really comes from, the car business. I started out when I was somewhere in the neighborhood of 19 or 20 in Oklahoma City, of all places, and then took my talents out to California and started in Northern California, stayed there until the big earthquake, and then decided the economy was going to take a dump and moved to SoCal and worked for a great group, the Dave Wilson organization, up until the time I decided to venture off on my own.
And before you ventured off on your own, how many cars were you or your team moving a month?
Well, I did almost every job in the dealership, from sales to finance director to sales manager to fleet manager to general sales manager to GM, et cetera. So back when I was just selling cars by myself, my best month was 69 and a half units.
Oh my God. How do you sell half a car?
Someone needs you to close their deal, or you need someone to close your deal. But I was usually the closer, not the one that needed help.
So over in that particular month, that's over 2 a day. I mean, that's 30 days in a month. So you were pumping those out, right? I mean, does anyone do that?
My goal was, I don't think so. My goal was to get the first one of the day and the last one of the night and get everything in between. I worked on it every single day, just like that.
You went from salesperson to GM. You went from salesperson to GM, step by step.
I did. Correct. Yes.
Same approach as a GM for your sales guy, like same approach in terms of their tenacity, goals, being driven by someone that's already done it.
Yeah, been a rhino through that whole process all the way through.
What does that mean, be a rhino? Like we see the rhino behind. I know a little bit about it, but share with the folks like what a rhinoceros means to you.
Well, there's a great book called Rhinoceros Success, and I'll give you the Cliff Notes version. The Cliff Notes is success is a jungle, and to be successful in sales, you got to have thick skin, you got to keep charging, you got to have tunnel vision, and to be successful. And that's what I kind of do every day. And the book talks about surrounding yourself with rhinos and not cows, right? So in my office, I've always had rhinos in there. At my house, I have rhinos there just to remind me when I might be having an off day or an off minute that, hey, I got thick skin, I can keep charging, I'm going to be successful.
Well, what is it's interesting to hear you say have an off day. What does an off day for you mean? Like where you're frustrated with someone, where you don't believe in the mission anymore? Like what does that look like?
Not that I don't believe in the mission, but maybe you took a shot, right? Maybe something went wrong on one of your deals, maybe with one of your teammates, et cetera. And so you got to call a timeout and you got to regroup and you got to go get everybody back on track and keep charging.
So you had unbelievable success in the car business, and then a moment in time you go, I think I could apply this discipline to mortgage, or how did you make that crossover?
Well, I was in the dealership and my wife was walking in with my two kids. And at the time, they were probably like 3 and 2, 3 and 4, somewhere in that neighborhood. And the guys backs her to me, right? My wife's coming in and I'm saying hi. And the guys go, that son of a bitch, Sawyer, he's always at the dealership. His wife's got to bring the kids up there for him to see him. And so kind of hurt my feelings a little bit. It certainly was the first arrow in me. And then shortly thereafter, we found out my youngest son had autism. And I said, hey, I got to do something where I'm not living in the dealership. I got to be able to help my wife more. So that was really my transition.
I'd
A
never
good
heard
buddy
that
of mine,
story.
yeah, that's how it went down. A good buddy of mine said, hey, man, you know as much about marketing as anybody that I call on. He was a marketing guy. He said, I'll put you on with me and teach you the things you don't know, and kind of went from there. And that's how I started. I went from the car business into marketing almost overnight.
So you went to you went to the marketing division in a mortgage company, or you went to marketing in auto?
Well, I actually went to a work as a consultant for Western Federal Savings Bank, which at the time was, I think, the largest non-captive bank out there. Non-captive, not like Ford Motor Credit or Toyota Motor Credit. They were independent. And they had worked with Experian on some technology where the kind of trigger leads all started. They were looking at people's credit bureaus and trying to figure out when they were going to trade for automobiles. And they had me run a division of them for that.
Okay. And so when was the aha moment when you realized, hey, you could actually make a lot more money on a mortgage loan than you can on an auto loan, and the opportunities seem to be equal or better?
Yeah, so my old friend Jeff Weems said, "Hey, man, here's what you're doing, and in the car business, you're working your ass off to make 2 or 3 grand a deal. Look what we're doing over here in the mortgage business. We're making 10 or 12 grand a deal." So literally within 30 days of me having that conversation with him, we turned our entire sales team into mortgage people and went for it. And
So
I've been there ever
so
since.
so Jeff actually had something to do with you coming over to the lending business?
Yeah, absolutely.
So
Yeah,
we
he had done it before.
yeah, so for our friends, Free has been very close with Jeff Weems for over 30 years, and I've known him for almost 20. We just lost him a couple weeks ago. He passed away unexpectedly. I just want to toast to Jeff and his family, and God rest his soul. Freeman, being true to the kind of person he is got his arms around the family and is doing everything he can to help that process along. But I was unaware that Jeff actually was responsible for getting you into the business. I knew you guys worked together a long time, but I didn't know he was the actual person to do it.
Yeah, he opened the door. We were in the car business together. He was on the lending side. I was actually on the sales side. And we just kind of worked together one way or another, really, for the last 32 years.
So if you fast track, you ran a very large call center. I think it was out in Camarillo, right, in Ventura County. Was
Yep,
that where the base was?
correct. Yes,
And it
it
was,
was.
walk me through the size of that at the height, what you were doing, like the trigger leads, directing traffic, controlling that experience from a sales perspective. Walk me through that, what that business looked like.
Yeah, so to kind of back up a little more, when I was at Western Federal Savings Bank, we started to play with triggers. That was when triggers were first kind of invented, I believe, and they were using them for the car business, and that's what I was involved in. And I said, "Hey, can we do this for the mortgage business as well too?" And they go, "Sure, let's do it." So I went through getting all my licenses for mortgage, and literally in a 30-day time span, we started calling trigger leads. We were looking for refis all over the country, basically.
Tell
So
everyone
we would
what a
get that
trigger lead is, Free. What is it for those that don't know?
when a customer basically gets their credit checked as on a mortgage inquiry. There's several different types of inquiries. There's auto inquiries, there's credit card inquiries, there's insurance inquiries. These are mortgage. There's mortgage first, mortgage second, equity line. They're all a different trigger. But we would buy those triggers, and then we would call that customer and solicit them, and basically try to beat the deal or help them get the deal that they were looking for.
On those trigger leads, when someone has their credit pulled, how soon after that credit is pulled do you get notified that somebody's in the market? Is it immediate? Is it days, weeks? Like, what does that lag
It's
time look
not
like?
quite immediate, but it batches at night, and then that file kicks out, about 6 a.m. in the morning. So by the time your guys are coming into work, they've got a fresh set of triggers in there. So we would assign each sales rep out a certain amount of trigger leads, and you're just dialing for dollars from that point.
And were you controlling the outbound messaging, all conflict resolution and conversion of objections and all that sort of thing? Or was it every man and woman for themselves?
Every bit of it. It was all scripted, and then objection handling. We knew what all the objections were. There was only about six. They might have sounded like 60, but when you dig into them, there's only six. And we would go through those with the people. And then from there, we TO the deal to a sales manager once there was interest. So their job was to get a second set of numbers, agreement, take an application, and then turn the deal over.
I remember the first time I walked through that. This is in the front end of the financial crisis. And I remember walking through going, my Lord, this guy has it figured out, because you really took a lot of the independence from salespeople out, and it was a regimented. We walk this way, we talk this way, we respond this way, we follow up this way, and when things don't go good, we go back to square one and we do it all over again. And the repetitiveness of that discipline, I think, led at least me to believe like you were really, really onto something different. And I'd spent my entire adult life in lending and had not really seen it done that way at that moment in time. Pretty impressive.
Yeah. And really, that's coming from the car business, right? Where we control the environment. We need to control the sales environment, we control the sales guy, right? And ultimately, you're trying to get a yes from that customer that they need your auto.
So I think that was '06, '07 ish. And look, the financial crisis hurt all of us in a number of different ways. Like, we got pretty fat and happy. Leading up to that, rates were good, products were flowing, people had needs, volume was substantial, and competition really wasn't quite like we see it today. And so, for those that were out there hustling, great things happened. And I think what the financial crisis did, and I'm speaking for you a little bit, but please chime in, is it forced us to lessen the load of all of the luxuries of life and really get back down to the basics while we tried to figure out how long this malaise was going to take. And one of the things that you detached yourself from was a very, very, very large boat. Some people call it a yacht. I think over 50 feet is considered that. And what I've always loved about you, Free, is that from that moment you said goodbye to your boat, you've always said, I'm going to get my boat back. Like, yeah, I'm going to get my boat back. And I've never forgotten that. And you've done so much more than get your boat back. But how was that a driver for you, your family, your business, when you think about that statement, I want to get my boat back?
Well, you want to become financially independent again, right? And that '06, '07, '08, broke a lot of people, and it broke me. And so, that boat was an icon for me. Although, getting the boat back means different things to me today. I've got Heroes Ranch, and that's a new boat. So
Yes.
I like that one.
So as you and I worked together, Till when would you say? When did you make the split off? Was it like 15 or 16? Or was it before then?
Yeah, I think it was 14ish.
14. And you went back to Texas from California.
Went back to Texas,
What year did you
where
go
I grew
back to
up.
Texas?
Started going back on trips like in uh, 2012, and
What
then figured out what I wanted to do when I grow up again.
what's so interesting to me, Free, is that knowing you the way that I know you, you are not a California guy. You are born, bred through and through a Texas guy. Like you, when you think Texas, you think Freeman. You do not think about a guy in Southern California just because of everything I know about you and the things that are important to you. But you moved out to Texas and you really kind of honed in on this builder business when, and most folks out there in the conventional world knows you're either kind of you're a refi shop. You might just be a call center and take anything that comes through the door. You could be purchase focused or oriented, which is much tougher to scale because it's one realtor, one real estate office at a time, trying to convince them that you're the messiah of loan closing. And then there's the builder business, which I think might be the toughest of them all. Might be the toughest of them all because all the big companies are going in there. They're pitching these big builders on why them and how they can close loans and be quick and give them some concessions. And somehow, Freeman, some way you penetrated that market in a way that I don't believe anybody else has ever penetrated. So talk to me a little bit about that switch off from call center model to I'm going to own this part of the market that no one else owns.
Yeah, so it actually started when I got to Texas. I happened to see a local TV show that was kind of builder centric. They were talking about new communities, and I was like, man, I need to hook up with those guys. And I actually went and cold called that company and told them of my idea of doing a 72-hour sales event in Dallas, Fort Worth. And we had a big media buy with it. I went belly to belly with their owner, and I went and met all the builders in DFW. And we put together a 3-day sales event with, I think at the time it was about a $4 million spend on media, and we put a bunch of people into the market. And this was a little before, when TV still worked and radio still worked, so we were pounding that. And I met a lot of builders, and believe it or not, Bill, I don't think I've ever told you this either. But the builder that I got because somebody bet me that I couldn't get them. And it was a steak dinner. And I went and I cold called them, and in one call closed, I got the account. So to be the
Wow.
preferred lender.
So you
And
became the
12
preferred.
years later, I'm still the preferred lender.
Is that right?
Yes.
Do you remember there was
Yeah.
that one guy, I forget what that guy's name was, but he like kind of ran all of the different branches of the new developments and he said, I do not want Freeman Sawyer getting it or something like that. I don't want him in there. I don't want him getting leads because he had all his own personal friends and people that he liked to feed the deals to. And you blew right through that. You blew
Yeah.
right through that.
Absolutely.
And so 12
Yeah,
years
we
later,
did. Yeah. 12 years later, I'm still there. I'm part of the sales team there. It's home for me. I feel like I'm really employed by the home builder, not by CrossCountry Mortgage.
and it is amazing that that home builder is still out there grinding through all those different market conditions, right? All the different changes in the space, from regulation to political unrest and the moves in and out and interest rates
Let's
going
not
up and
forget
down.
let's not forget COVID, right? Everybody had to learn how to sell without being belly to belly with people. So we did that too.
Um, do you know how many loans? Have you ever thought about how many loans you've done for that builder over the last 12 years?
I think I just looking at today's numbers. I'm at 432 million for 762 units, and
For
I've still got a
25?
couple months for 25. Yeah, and I still got a couple of months to go. So I'll probably end up somewhere in the 8 to 900 range, and I think I've been there almost the whole time. Obviously, my market share is good. We average somewhere between 85 to 90% pull through most months.
80? Okay, hold on a second. 85% of the homes that are being sold by that builder are being financed by you and your team.
Yes, sir.
That is like, if you could get 30 to 40% pull through, that would be something to be very proud of. 50% people would probably gamble that you couldn't get there. 80% is unbelievable.
And we're chasing a little more. It's a percent at a time now, but our product mix is so big at CrossCountry. We have such a great non QM lineup, some stuff that other guys can't do, and I think the market is changing a little bit. People who haven't gotten waited on in a long time are getting waited on right now. So you got first time buyers back in the market. You got people that are a little credit challenged back in the market, and you got to be able to adapt and work those deals too.
So let's pause there for a second. You're with CrossCountry, national lender. I
Yes, sir.
think one of the biggest in the nation right now. Last you and I spoke, yeah.
CrossCountry is the number one retailer in the nation.
And what do you have an idea of what volume looks like for 25 for them?
I don't.
So
I focus on myself. So I apologize.
no, you don't.
And I'm all about Freeze volume, not anybody else's.
I got you. I think it's over. I think it's over 20 billion. I think is the number. I don't know precisely, but you know what's amazing? Like when you and I were together at back at Skyline, I think we did the biggest we ever done was right around 4 billion, and we actually felt like we were something. And now those companies are just, some of those companies almost do that in a month. It's just crazy. But you guys are number one right now nationally, and so it's not just Fannie, Freddie, Jenny. You said non QM you're offering as well,
Correct.
and
Yeah,
and obviously
non-QM.
your builder loves that. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And we got a handful of down payment assistance programs, enough to make it work. My home builder is coming out with a whole new line of housing right now that's geared towards the first time home buyer. So I'm super excited about helping them sell those houses.
Wow. And are you part of that discussion process when they think about an area development and a market? Are they consulting you for your thoughts around, what a buyer would
Well,
look like? Or
when I first started, and I can't change, the stripes on me, right? But my goal is always to help them sell more houses. So whether they're asking me for help or I'm inserting my help, someone's going to get some help from me. So we have a community right now that was a brand new community. It happens to fall in a USDA neighborhood. I went ahead and took all their floor plans. They were going to build there. I had appraisals done. So what they call a spec and plan appraisal done so that we could help them figure out the pricing on those models. And I did that without anybody asking me to do it, and just came over and said, hey, man, I just want to show you guys what you're working on and how this is going to work for financing.
by way of perspective, 30 of my years in this space was spent on the conventional side. And with that 30 years, I created, kept, maintained lots of friends, friends that run large national companies, friends that are top producers nationally, run large teams. What I want to tell you, Free, and then everyone that's listening, is that I don't believe I could probably count on my hand the number of people nationally that have already funded $400 million as an originating team. Like that's not heard of. Really, really top originators right now that are being solicited from other mortgage companies with large signing bonuses are those groups or individuals that are doing 10 to 15 million a month. 10 to 15 million a month. Like, which is what, 120 to 180 million a year? Not 400 plus with a quarter left. It's an amazing number, Freeman. Like, not a good number, not go get him, Freeman. We're also not in a awesome market. Like, rates aren't great. So, like, when you put that into perspective, it's phenomenal. Like, I couldn't be more proud of you. It's a hell of an accomplishment.
Yeah, thanks. It's a very unique situation that I have, and it's a good team that we've built together. And I do that with about 8 loan officers, by the way.
That's
So
crazy.
we run pretty tight.
Free. Obviously, the mortgage world, many of the leaders of the mortgage world had heard of you, had known of you, wanted you wearing their jersey. Um, no different than the best football players or the best baseball players. Folks that run and own teams know who those top-notch players are. You being one of them. And without getting into the details, obviously I know that there was a lot of folks that wanted you, a lot that wanted you. You went through a life-changing event, right? And as you were contemplating a potential change, walk me through that life-changing event. And I think it was just, help me, a year ago, a little more?
A little more than a year ago, my quote unquote alive day, right? When I quit breathing and my heart quit beating was 7/22 of 2024. So yeah, we just celebrated my first alive day here not that long ago. But I was on a recruiting trip with my two right hand people up to Cleveland, Ohio to actually meet with the owner of CrossCountry and to interview his team of managers. And we were walking to dinner and my heart quit working. I had a birth defect that I knew about when I was 20-ish, but nobody ever said, hey, one day your heart's going to quit working. And that day my heart quit working literally right in front of the restaurant as we were walking in. I went down. I remember taking my jacket off, handing it to one of my guys and saying, I don't feel right. And that's the last thing I remember. And then I woke up in the ambulance. And you don't wake up all at once. At least I didn't, right? You start hearing things first. And I'm hearing this pinging going on, right? And I'm thinking to myself, fuck, did I go to hell? you know, I'm supposed to go to heaven, right? And anyway, and but I could think, and obviously I could breathe, and I could pray, but I couldn't speak and I couldn't move. Right, and I remember the guy in the ambulance had the oxygen mask on me. As I started figuring out where I was at, I'm like, okay, that's an oxygen mask. I was trying to push it off, but my limbs weren't working. And I think it was a short ride. I think it was somewhere in the 5 to 6 minute ride over there. And by the time we got to the hospital, things started turning back on. And as we literally, they were getting ready to take me out of the ambulance, I was able to finally move my hand and push the guys off. And he goes, "Oh, you're awake now." But anyway, that's my story. One of my guys that was with me actually started CPR on me. And then, of all things, how I think God works through other people, an off-duty medic, chief petty officer, my unknown hero, came over there, kicked my guy off, and said, "Hey, man, I know what I'm doing here. Let me take over." And he started doing CPR on me and brought me back to breathing and my heart beating.
Effectively saved your life.
He did save my life, absolutely. Yeah.
And tell the story how you have a stint in the hospital, you come out, and how you reconnected with that individual.
Yeah. So one of the guys that was with me took a quick shot as he was getting in the ambulance with me of that unknown hero at the time. And I circulated that the best I could. I've got, from Heroes Ranch, I've got some connections with some retired Navy SEALs and stuff, and gave them pictures. And they were kind of trying to use facial recognition to figure out who this guy was. But it wasn't a great picture. It was really from the side. It was hard to tell. And they were like, "Hey, man, we're just not getting enough hits on it to make it work." So I actually went all the way through the first year unsuccessfully trying to find this guy. And then on my live day, I talked to my Navy SEAL buddy and I said, "Hey, man, I'm just going to put it out on social media and see if anybody can help me." So I wrote a post on social media, put the guy's shitty picture out there. And anyway, within 4 hours, the internet had found him. And the friends, family, circle of influence on Facebook had found this guy. And he reached out and called me up on that day.
Wow. And so did you get to reconnect with them? Was it just that call, or did you reconnect with them?
Well, it was that call, and then he happened to he trains other people on how to do EMT stuff. Live shooter. I mean, he does all this sort of training. The guys in the NFL are saving lives, basically. But he was going to be in Texas, and anyway, he drove up to Dallas to meet with me, and I had him out to the ranch, and we went hunting, bonded for a great weekend, and we're the best of friends, and we'll be friends forever.
What a fabulous story. So Free,
Yeah.
let's take a step back for a second. Um, most most of the dreamers I've met in my life, most of them are just that. They're dreamers. They have a thought in mind of how they would envision living their perfect version of their rest of their days, or a goal that's so big that it's unobtainable. And more important than maybe it being unobtainable, they don't ever really try to make it obtainable. And you said something to me earlier. You said, getting my boat back has different meaning to me. And you started this program that you've mentioned a few times in our talk called Heroes Ranch. What was the genesis of the thought around Heroes Ranch? And walk me through that step one, sourcing land, or running a budget, or having a conversation with your wife, or saying, this is going to be how I spend the rest of my waking moments outside of work and family, to the day I check out. Like, walk me through how that started, walk me through the process and where you are today.
Yeah. So I think it started, Bill, it is a combination of things. But, I grew up in San Antonio, Texas. There's 5 military bases there. Most of the guys I grew up with, their dads were in the service. My dad was a government contractor. Both my grandfathers were in the service. All my uncles were in the service. So, I grew up, on military bases. Every summer I was working on them. Hell, we were lifting weights on them, getting in shape for football every season on them. So I felt like, my family was a military family all the time. And when guys exit the military, it's they don't get the gold watch. They don't get much, not even an appropriate thank you or a proper thank you, I think. One of my uncles is a 3-star general, and he's very influential in my world. So I think, what a wide berth, what I call a hero. Obviously, we like veterans. We love first responders. I love what I call a star family, or somebody lost a family member in the line of duty or not in the line of duty. And then special needs kids. I grew up with a multi-handicapped sister. So I think all those things together made me want to do it. I love hunting and fishing. And if I can bring that to another family, and have them see that enjoyment, I want to do it. And so, what I see is, I see guys that give up a lot, guys that give up their life for us, right? But they also give their bodies up for us, right? And so they have a disability. Not all disabilities you can see. Sometimes they're in their heads, right? They got PTSD or whatever. So my goal was to build a ranch so that they could bring their families out, hunt and fish, no matter what their ability or disability is. They can go anywhere they want to on the ranch, and they can enjoy any of the things that we have on the ranch. And quite frankly, I didn't have a budget, right? I just wanted to do it. And so I started looking for land. I put together a team of subject matter experts. So, I had a earth moving guy. I had a general contractor guy. I had a fish and wildlife biologist guy. So that when I would go out, I had a high fence guy. We could take a look at each property and go, does this work for my goals? Does this work for what I want to do? And really, over a series of years, I put that together. And Heroes Ranch is pretty much done. We're always expanding a little bit, but just as you and me are having this conversation, we have 3 families out there right now, hunting, fishing, and having a great time.
I don't think anyone can truly appreciate what you built there. I mean, I remember in the very beginning when you found your first plot of land, and when you were creating the lake, and when you were stocking the lake, and you brought a couple hundred deer in, and you built your main house, and you built other houses, and you bring the handicapped vehicles in, and every single month you were doing something, moving that ball down the field. And you look at it right now, it's unbelievable. Free. Like, it's amazing that one man and one man's family's vision, with the support of those experts that you talked about, have created something so special. And my favorite spot, my very, very, very favorite part of the entire ranch, is your flag. I've never
Yeah,
seen anything like it. It's just
mine too.
beautiful.
150 foot flagpole, 3,200 square feet of flag, bigger than some of the buildings that we have on the property. And we never take it down except for when we take it to half mast for somebody we want to salute. It's kind of cool to also own a big flag, so I can drop that to half mast when and whenever I want to.
I love that. I love that. And I was actually fortunate enough to be there at your groundbreaking ceremony when you actually put up the flag. It was
Yeah,
a
good time.
tremendously special moment. Today, how is Heroes Ranch run? Do you have like a staff of people? How many veterans come through that a year? What does that look like?
We do have a staff of people. We've got guys that work at the ranch every day. We've got some volunteers that work. Most of the people that we have at the ranch have some disability. And so we usually have that family in on a Monday. So Monday they'll come into the ranch, they get a tour of the ranch. We sight them in, teach them how to shoot sometimes. Sometimes, when I say the family, so maybe the hero's hunting, but the kids want to hunt, or maybe the mom wants to hunt, and we'll take them fishing. Usually in that first day at dinner, we'll have some entertainment out, a band, and we'll have a great time. Feed them a good meal, have some fellowship, pray a little bit, and then they can listen to the guitar players and join in singing some songs around the campfire out there on the patio. So it's a good first day. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, they're hunting or they're fishing, and they're driving side by sides around. They're on pontoon boats. They're doing whatever they want to do to have a good time. This hunting season, which just started, we will have 35 families come in during the week, and then we'll have about the same on the weekends for guys that maybe just want a meat hunt, maybe not a trophy hunt, but a meat hunt, and bring their families or their friends out with them as well too. So somewhere in the 70 range this season, we'll have it to the ranch.
And how many animals are on the ranch? How big is the ranch?
We're sitting at 474 acres right now.
And how many
Um,
animals?
a lot.
100? 200?
A lot.
And
Yeah. And not everybody can get one.
how do you keep the bad animals off of your ranch, protecting your good animals? Is there a process there, or is it not as tough
Well,
as?
we have it high fence, so it's a high fence game ranch. We've got a great herd of genetic whitetail deer. We've also got fallow deer, which are the kind of the palmated antlers, and then we've got axis deer, and we got black buck antelope. So those seem to live together pretty well, and we don't bring anything else in exotic that might not get along with the other ones. And deer go through ruts, so they spar with themselves, and sometimes animals die during that sparring, but for the most part, they all get along well.
And then what about fish? What kind of fish are people fishing for?
Uh, well, we have great fish. We got a great bass lake, Heroes Lake. We've got bluegill, we got copper we got crappie, we got a little bit of everything. Dakota's Pond, named after my old hunting dog, has catfish in it. I've got catfish that are huge. To have good fishing, you got to have good bait fish. We have our own bait ponds that we actually harvest bait fish out of and put them in with the other fish, and they grow bigger and bigger and bigger. But it's not uncommon. I just saw a video the other day. One of our heroes, Alicio, and he's reeling in a fish. He goes, "Oh yeah, I caught 28 already." It's just like he's not really fishing; he's just catching.
Oh, catch and release.
Yeah, it's all catch and release. Correct.
Um, and this is free of charge. You're letting these people come and enjoy this ranch and all of these festivities free of charge.
Yes. Yeah. So me and one of my subject matter experts, a guy named Bob Lusk, he's a wildlife biologist. We kind of went on a tour of what we thought we were going to see was disabled hunting ranches, and kind of realized while we were out there, some of them do a great job, but there's not really a disabled hunting ranch out there. So I don't want the heroes and their families to pay for anything. So they don't pay for licensing. They don't pay for taxidermy. They don't pay for processing the meat. They don't pay for a meal. They don't tip a guy. They don't do anything. and we've got everything, all the adaptive equipment somebody might need. So whatever their disability is, my team and I, we figure out how we're going to take them hunting, fishing, how we're going to move around the ranch from place to place, and do it from there. But it's obviously taken a big investment. But the side by side, so the vehicles that we drive on the ranch in, they're ADA friendly. Pontoon boats are ADA friendly. The hunting blinds that the guys sit in are ADA friendly. The 6,500 square foot Heroes cabin that their family stay in that week is ADA friendly.
Wow.
So there's nothing on the ranch that we have where we can't take them out and enjoy what they want to do.
It is.
All at no.
Like you just don't think there's enough hours in a day or thoughts in one's mind to be able to manage $400 to $500 million a year in fundings and run a ranch of that magnitude. Is your business the driver of the ranch, or is the ranch? I'm guessing it is, right? Because you got to generate. You get some donated money, and then the rest is coming from Freeman and Freeman's family. Correct?
Correct. Yeah, that's right. It takes a team out there. My wife lives out there, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, and she's very helpful, and she's in for the mission with me. I've got a great couple ranch managers out there that do a fantastic job for me. And like today, I'm in the Dallas working on my home builder, and I'm not thinking about the ranch. Those guys are running it, and they're making Heroes and their families happy right now without me around.
It's so amazing, Freeman. It's just so proud of you to be able to have that idea and then to carry it forward. It's such a massive ranch and such a massive operation that it's hard for me to get my arms around how you run that and still maintain a business the way that you do and lead in that part of the industry. And it's got to be unbelievably satisfying to you to be able to give back to all those folks that have given us so much with their service.
Yeah, it is. And just talking about the partnership I have with my home builder, they literally help me design the houses that the Heroes stay in. We have a 4,500 square foot pavilion where we have big group meals, and we have fellowship in there, and just a good time, quite frankly. And they helped me design those buildings. They helped me with getting the correct trades to help us build, and supplies at a discounted rate and so forth. So they've been a great partner for me, not only at what we do every day, building houses and financing houses, but they're also a great partner with helping me with Heroes Ranch and getting that off the ground.
I love that. That's great. If we transition before we wrap up to a couple personal questions I have for you. Have you ever done a SWOT analysis, a strength, weakness, opportunity, threat on yourself or your business?
I think we do it all the time.
How would you answer? What's Freeman's? If you did a SWOT on Freeman today, what would that look like?
Well, what I'm focused on right now is I get other home builders that want to use our services, and it's a touchy point for me because I'm on the home builders team right now, and I don't know that I could work for another team. So we're actually looking for builders that are outside our area, so they wouldn't compete with my current home builder right now, where I consider to be home. So we're the backup lender for several builders that need some help. When they can't make a deal, that they reach out to us, and we always figure out a way to make that deal. But I am looking for some other markets right now to grow my business a little bit, and those would be builders outside the Dallas-Fort Worth area.
So your strength is that you've figured out the math there. Weakness is that you're so committed to that particular builder that you really don't want to compromise that relationship.
Correct.
Any threats you see in the space right now?
Well, I think I have threats all the time, right? You have other guys that want to come in and knock on the builder's door, every single day, and they want to do they've got the one loan that they can do, and where I'm trying to do all the loans for them. Quite frankly, I don't know how a builder works with a bunch of different companies. You can't really get any great synergy going, and you can't get everybody on the same page when you got too many cooks in the kitchen.
Yeah, I agree with that. Free, what's the best bit of advice you've ever been given?
I think it's a good friend of mine, Scott Tolan. It was the first one to introduce me to the Rhinoceros Success book. It's a simple book. It's a quick read. I would tell everyone to go get a copy of it. I think you're either a rhino before you know it or not. I certainly was a rhino before, but the book validated everything, and it's such an easy process to follow. Just keep charging, and that's what I try to do.
Yeah, I love that. If folks wanted to support Heroes Ranch, where would they go to offer up support for you and your endeavor?
Yeah, I invite you to check out our website, heroesranch.com. Heroes is often misspelled, so we have the correct spelling in the poor spelling version of .coms. But you can go on there, check out some of the videos, see some of the heroes, see some of the trophies, and you can make a donation there as well too, and we'd love it. And 100% of the money goes to helping heroes hunt. All of the staff that's at the ranch gets paid through another company that I own, and 100% of the proceeds go to helping heroes hunt. We don't spend any of it.
And if somebody wanted to get financing through Freeman Sawyer and CrossCountry, how would they go about that?
The name of our team has a website. It's AmericanDreamTeam.com. AmericanDreamTeam.com. Just find us online, or you can call me on my cell and I'll help you too. 714-936-5700.
That's the same number you've had since Ventura County.
Yeah, forever.
Yeah, that's the number I have in my contacts. Free, I'm glad that we didn't spend any time talking about the Cowboys. Freeman and I are longtime Cowboy fans, and we were reminiscent about the pain that we're going through right now, and the sadness that we had to deal with in our beat up loss to the Cardinals last night. It was very tough.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I was thinking, I think they have some coaching situations. I was the offensive coordinator for the Camarillo Roadrunners. They might pull me out of retirement to come call some play for the Cowboys.
Let's go. I love that. Hey, Free, love you to pieces. Like, you're my brother, and I'm so proud of you and grateful for what you do to the heroes. And thank you for taking the time and sharing your story.
Yeah, right back at you. Thank you very much for having
All right,
me.
pal. Thank you, Freeman, and thank you for tuning in to Unconventional. Please like and subscribe if you, too, would like to be unconventional.